Hello and welcome to episode number 10 of your Power Packed Podlets. As I'm recording this, I have one more week left of my holiday. It is Monday. This is the first time ever, in fact, I have recorded the Podlet on the same day as we're dropping the Podlet. So I've just come from like 3 weeks of holiday. I've got friends visiting. We've got more friends coming this week as well. It's so much fun. And so it only makes sense that the subject matter of this episode really be to do with understanding how to create one, a business model that allows you the rest that works for your body and your personality, and two, how to gradually build this into your life. I'm going to be sharing more of my own personal journey so as to put it into a context for you. And it is really for you to take away what serves you the most from this story, to be able to put it into the context of your own life. Because it's so easy for us to see other people who have a lot of time freedom whilst creating greater and greater financial freedom and assume that they've got something that we don't. And so with sharing this, my intention is that if in your mind, for whatever reason, you're creating distance between you and the holiday, the rest, the fun, the play, the balance that you desire for yourself, the intention with this episode is to remove that perception of distance and to actually give you the insights that bring it closer to you. So let's get into it. I've made some notes. You may hear me moving my piece of paper around. So when I was having my coffee this morning and doing my morning practice, you were on my mind, all of you in this magical community. And I was thinking, what's going to be the subject of today's episode that's really going to serve you? And that's like a relevant topic right now in my life. Because this is really the thing, right? Is I believe in teaching from a place of embodiment, teaching from a place of personal experience to really give insights. Yeah, as a coach and mentor, and who has coaches and mentors, this has been the thing that served me the most. Having coaches and mentors that I pay for, and also ones that I follow for free, is hearing about their own experiences, how they've overcome things, what's allowed them the success that they're currently experiencing, the mindset pieces, all of that. It just makes such a difference. It's made it so much more possible for me as somebody who never thought the life that I currently have would be possible for me, is following other people and listening to their stories that really made the difference. So first I wrote this down as I was in conversation with one of my friends that's staying with me now. In conversation, this phrase came up and I immediately wrote it down because it is so important to share with you, and it's the following. People who you see that have what they desire is because they are not willing to tolerate less. I'm going to say that again for you. People who you see who have what they desire is not by magic and miracles, although there is magic and miracles as well, is because they're not willing to tolerate less. And this is something that one of my coaches has said on multiple occasions, and I resonate with it so much, especially as somebody who used to really struggle with fitness, who became a fit girl, who now it's just a natural way of being for me, is because I was not willing to tolerate a negative mindset around health and happiness and looking after my body and all of those things. And I've now translated this also to my business, to nervous system regulation when it comes to being a business owner, to the clients that I work with, to the money that I make. Is all about what we're willing to tolerate. And whatever you're willing to tolerate is what you will experience. So if there's currently something in your life right now, in your business right now, that you don't like, it's also something up until this very moment in time you've been willing to tolerate. Tolerate enough that you have not gone through the processes to make the changes required for it not to be a part of your experience. And so this is the thing in business, right? So up until maybe it was 5 summers ago, I don't remember the exact number of summers, I was willing to tolerate working my butt cheeks off over summer. So when I was focusing on giving lots of massages, so my main income was private yoga classes, yoga sessions, beach boot camp, beach yoga, and massage. and maybe hosting the occasional retreat, or somebody would invite me to go and teach on a retreat or give massages on a retreat. And so summertime used to be an increase in income because there would be lots more people here in Spain. And so I'd have a lot more opportunities of going to someone's home whilst they're on holiday and giving 1, 2, 3, 4 days of massages back to back. Or people would come into the studio and it'd be a full family, mother, father, their children coming in for massages. And so I had lots of work. But here's the piece. And so I'd finished the summer financially better off, health-wise a lot worse off. I'd be exhausted, depleted, physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically as well, because it's a lot giving massages. Any of you who do healing work, whether it's hands-on or other format, you know that if you do not take adequate rest and you do not fill your own cup up and you look after your vessel, you get very depleted looking after other people's, helping and serving other people. And so I would finish my summer financially like, yeah, this is sweet. I just in absolute pieces. And so I would often then get very unwell. It would then cause me to need to have rest. And so then that rest, which means less money was coming in, would then kind of even out things from having made more over the summer. But not only this, here in Spain, it's really hot in the summertime. And so in that extra heat, it was a lot for the body, a lot for the nervous system to keep pushing it and pushing it. And I remember 3 summers in a row thinking to myself, I don't want to keep doing this. My 40s were approaching, I was in my late 30s, my 40s were approaching, and I kept thinking, how many more summers can I actually do this without breaking, like really breaking? And I kept saying to myself, 3, possibly 4 summers, I kept saying to myself, I'm not doing this another summer. I'm not doing this another summer. I'm not doing this another summer. And then the next summer would come around and I'd find myself in the same position. And I realized the final summer I did that, I realized it because I was willing to tolerate it. I was not setting myself up for success. I was not putting the things in place because I kept believing that it wasn't possible to do things differently. It would be too hard. How can I take a summer off and make money? How can I take a summer off and still have a functioning business? And I kept buying into those stories and living the same reality and breaking just a little bit more. And then that last summer, it was too much. And I realized that something had to be done differently. And at the end of that summer, I actually began to set things in motion so that my next summer would be different. I began from the autumn assuming that my next summer would be different, assuming that I'd be taking a holiday, assuming that that would work, and therefore setting things in place, just trusting myself. I don't know how this is going to work, and it is. And I started booking flights to go on holiday. I started booking in time off. And I started putting things into motion with the assumption that it would happen. And then when summer came around, everything was set up in place. I had, I believe it was 5 or 6 weeks off without working. I had all of my costs covered. And even though it was a bit of a squeeze when I came back financially, that first time around, I managed to take a full summer break, a full rest, and come back to work regenerated. And in that moment, I acknowledged a few things. One is maybe you do not need to have 4, 5, 6 weeks off over the summer. Maybe that's not even something that you want for yourself. It's all about know thyself. What is it that's important to you? Don't tolerate less and don't settle. Why would you settle? If you are currently settling for something that is okay without being spectacular, what in you is causing you to settle? What is it you're telling yourself that makes you believe that you have to? What is it in you that's stopping you from making the effort to create the changes? Because this is the thing, and I'll come back to the thing I said at the beginning. People who have what they desire, it's because they're not willing to tolerate less and they're willing to put in the effort and to be consistent and keep finding ways to get what they want. The effort in and of itself is pleasurable because it's leading us to the desired result, and it's building a relationship with ourselves based on trust, based on pride in our actions, based on seeing that we are capable of doing the hard things, doing what is best over what is easiest. And so, since that first summer when I took X number of weeks off, every single summer I've asked myself, okay, so what worked and what can get better? What is still causing me health wise, emotionally, financially, what's still causing me to be depleted in some way, and how can I solve that? So, this is one of the big things that I teach my students, and something that we anchor into on a consistent basis is understanding that you can be problem focused or you can be solution focused. And something that I normalize for my clients is being a solution based person, so that maybe you encounter something that you don't like or isn't working. And it's not about focusing on the problem, it's understanding that the problem is showing you what you actually want, and it's finding a solution and having the courage and the capacity to keep going until that solution is your reality. Those of us who have what we desire are brave, we're courageous, we do the hard things. Is that something you wish to identify as being yourself if you don't currently? Let me get my piece of paper because there's lots more to share with you. Let's see how we're doing. This might be a slightly longer one today, which is fun. That's exciting. So each summer, I acknowledge what didn't work the last time. This summer, for example, I'll be taking 4 full weeks off, doing a little bit of work here and there. I'm available for my clients for answering their quantum questions in our private space. I'll start taking on one-on-one clients from the 11th of August or the 8th of August. And then that first week will be a gradual build up. So week 5 is a gradual build up. All because I've understood what did not work in the past. I'm like a steam train. I enjoy slowing down gradually and building up speed gradually. That is something that works not only for my personality, also for my nervous system. Know thyself. Observe what is not working and what impacts and depletes you, and choose to find a solution to that. And not only this is, maybe you're somebody who works like the beat of a drum. You actually find that routine and repetition works better for you. And so working in the way that I work wouldn't function. I'm somebody who works in waves. I enjoy and love, and I'm passionate about giving my all, going all in, and then slowing down and taking a rest and stepping back and integrating and learning the lessons and then coming back and doing it again. That's something that lights me up. Routines, repeating the same thing over and over again begins to dim my light. Know thyself. How can you build a business model, a lifestyle, and a mindset that actually works with your way of being physically, nervous system, mentally, how your mind functions, personality, identity, all of the things? Building a business is not about fitting into the mold of others. It's about learning the mold that works for you. You remember as a child, and those of you who've got kids, those games where there's a wooden board with different shapes. There's the triangle, the hexagon, the circle, the square. And at first, when you give it to a child, they will try and fit the triangle into the circle until they gradually learn what shapes fit in which holes. And it's the same with your business and building your business, building in rest to your business model. Sometimes it's about being like that child, learning which shape fits. And so you pick up each one at a time and you try it. And you keep finding, you learn the different shapes that fit into the different holes. And it's the same with you. It's about coming back to it, having that patience, and also enjoying the game of learning, enjoying the journey to the goal. So let me leave you with this, because it's all about finding the balance between the yin and the yang, the structure and the play, the goal and the creativity. This is something I love to focus on with my students when it comes to understanding the balance that works for you, the blockages that get in your way. Let me leave you with this, in fact. One of my students finds that by going into the yin, the softness, the relax, the rest, the creativity, the play, the fun, the flow, sometimes the flow can become too flowy and it's so hard to come back to structure. And rather than seeing it as a bad thing and therefore this person can't go into the play, can't go into the flow, it's about know thyself. Okay, so what's causing that? Let's look at it directly. Let's understand it. Let's be with that part and see how to set yourself up for success. And so what we do is we actually have a conversation around that. And now after summer, we will be doing, I work one-on-one with her, not just in a group context. We'll be actually having deep, meaningful and direct conversations about that transition from flow back to a healthy, safe structure. What does that look like? Okay, there's lots of wisdom in there. If you find that something specific has come through for you, drop that in the comments below to help you anchor it in, and also because it serves the other women in the space. I know there's some guys there as well, to really anchor in and read your words as well. Remember, this is a community. As AI is coming in and replacing lots of human functions, the most profound thing that cannot be replaced by AI is community and human connection and human interaction, empathy, understanding of one another. Remember to anchor into this, especially those of us who are heart-led, empathic, creative, spiritual entrepreneurs. This is something we continue to anchor into. Cease to walk this path alone and think you have to do it all by yourself. Lean into community, lean into connection, lean into learning from others, lean into being held, especially if you are somebody who holds others. Who is holding you? And on that note, we have some really incredible things coming up in August, this month, and in September, there is going to be mind-blowing things. I invite you with the offers that are coming in August that are going to be medium ticket offers. I invite you to lean into those offers as momentum that is building for the things coming in September, because you are not going to want to miss out on either of these, especially if you are ready to cease to walk this path alone, to be held as you hold others, to be held to a high standard from a place of love and embodiment. Tune in. Make sure you're in the WhatsApp group. Make sure you're following my stories. And if you're not in either of those places and you need the links, send me a DM or drop it in the comments below. I love you all, and we'll connect next Monday.